Hello and welcome to today's presentation. My name is William Trainer, President and CEO of Vicinity Motor Corp. I'm going to walk you through our slide deck today. We do have a few forward-looking statements we'd like you to browse at here on page 2. So Vicinity Motor Corp, we were established back in 2008, and we've delivered over 700 transit buses in the marketplace today. We've become a dominant player on the Canadian supply side, where we have received numerous awards for our products, and we have over a 90% market share in the Canadian market, transit market for a mid-sized product. So it's been very well accepted. The market, when we look at the market is really transitioning towards EV products, and I think we're just in the perfect position. As I walk you through the slide deck, you'll see that we've really positioned ourselves in this mid-sized space, and to a point that I think we can fully dominate that mid-sized space within the next few years. The market is transitioning, definitely transitioning towards EV product. And if you look at the forecast as we walk through the deck, you'll see that we're forecasting over 70% of our product that we're actually delivering this year will be EV product. Assembly, we have some very strong assembly facilities. We have a new one that we're just completing up down in Washington State, in Ferndale, Washington, which has a capacity of about 1,000 units a year. We have manufacturing capabilities in Elkhart, Indiana, for about 6,000 units a year. And then, of course, we have distribution and delivery out of Canada as well for approximately about 800 units out of our Vancouver location here. We're really growing our distribution network. If you follow some of our past news releases, you can see we've been really adding to cover all 50 states in the U.S. And it's coming along extremely well. I'll walk you through that as we come through the deck as well. Valuation, if you take a look at us and where we sit in the marketplace, we're extremely we're very extremely under where we think we should be in the peer group. And as I said, the market, as we walk through the market is transitioning towards EV. It just makes sense, and the funding that's available here, both on the Canadian side and the U.S. side, it's just incredible. We see billions of dollars being added for funding opportunities. Some of the programs in the U.S., one of the recent ones that come out is a low-no program, which I think is funded to the tune of about $4.1 billion over the next 5 years. So we've really positioned ourselves well there. The Canadian side, the Canadian government's put funding in place for over 5,000 new vehicles, new transit vehicles across the Canadian market space. And then, of course, as I show you the product lineup that we have a commercial truck as well, and that's got some unique opportunities as well, because there's a lot of subsidies that are coming out to actually transition out of diesel vehicles and into clean electric vehicles. And again, we're positioned in a great spot for that. So this is what really, if you look at our vehicles and where we sit, this is what I talked about earlier in the introduction there. We have positioned ourselves really to dominate this mid-size space. So when I say a mid-size space, if you look, we've got a small truck that's in a class 3, and then we've got a class 4 truck, a class 5 vehicles, class 6 vehicles, all the way up to 7 and 8 vehicles with our larger heavy-duty vehicles. If you look at the Vicinity Lightning and down, we say the 3 to 6 classifications. I think this is where you're going to see some explosion of growth in the EV side for us. All of those vehicles from the Lightning side down are all EV vehicles. And when we look at the Vicinity Lightning, it's really in a class of its own. We've designed this vehicle to come to market at a price point that is super competitive compared to our competitors for that vehicle. We've designed it really to come into the marketplace at around $350,000 to $400,000 US, Our competitors are coming in at well over $500,000 to $600,000. The reason for that is we've really taken some time to develop the product, and we developed this product really on a clean sheet of paper. So we haven't taken one of our heavy duty vehicles and done what our competitors have done and converted the vehicle to take an electric propulsion system. So going through the last, say, 3 years, we've developed what we call, the vehicle control unit, the power distribution unit, the multiplexing unit, all of this really to be able to incorporate very high quality parts. And we really looked at what the automotive industry was doing, much like Tesla, and said, why are electric vehicles real popular? Well, you have to be able to sell the vehicle, and the vehicle's got to be able to go into a location where it can get charged very easily. And that's what we've done with our Vicinity Lightning, and actually for all these vehicles in our midsize lineup. They come with an onboard charger, so that allows the vehicle to be charged in a standard grid pattern. When I say standard grid, if you look at the electrical grid pattern that's available in North America today, it's single phase 240 volt is the predominant electric charge that's out there coming into homes and businesses. And that's what we've taken advantage of, much like when I say Tesla. The vehicle's designed with an onboard charger to be able to charge on an overnight charge. We do have quick charge capabilities on our vehicles as well, but primarily you sell it with a plug, and it can be taken to your location and charged on an overnight, where you can charge it and get anywhere from, say, 150 to 250 miles on a single charge. Also, if you back to the Vicinity Lightning here, we designed it with the batteries in the low floor section of the bus. So when we designed the product, we really designed it to meet the customer's demands and needs out there. So the batteries are actually incorporated in the low floor section of the bus, so you can walk on and walk off it very easily. And what that does is that provides for a very low center of gravity for the vehicle, so it handles extremely well. When we look at our competitors, a lot of them have taken their existing product and taken the diesel and the diesel engine and transmission out and retrofitted it really to take an electric propulsion system. And they're challenged to where they can put their batteries. So in most instances, the batteries go on top of the roof, which really makes not for a very nice ride. It's a very top-heavy vehicle, where ours is really designed to actually meet the low floor needs. The other thing that we've done on our vehicles is when we look at this Vicinity Lightning and all that product line down, is we incorporated hydraulic brakes on the vehicle. So we wanted it to be user friendly. So when a customer buys this vehicle, they don't need a commercial air brake ticket to actually operate it. And that's for the bus, the trucks, and our shuttle vans all the way down. So we've really laser focused on the mid-sized market, and that's what we're focusing on. We're not, trying to put out a vehicle that meets everybody's needs, from very large to very small. No, we're laser focused on it, and we've really designed vehicles that the market is looking for and wants. Now, when you look at assembly, so this is really the growth. So when we look at our scalability and how can we get ourselves to deliver the vehicles, well, you need to have assembly factories. So you start off on the far right there. This assembly factory in Elkhart, Indiana, is really doing the shuttle buses and the E1 and the S1 vehicles for us, and it has a capacity of 6,000 units a year. Then, of course, you look at our Ferndale operation, which is just being completed. It's in Ferndale, Washington. This is a Buy America compliant assembly factory. So what we want to do there is we want to really we want to build a Buy America vehicle, so a vehicle that's really designed and manufactured in the U.S. and that's required on a lot of the tenders and bids that we're going after, particularly to go after a lot of this funding. Some of the large bids that we have outstanding are the state of California. We see the state of Washington coming online. And some of these vehicles are like the state of California bid alone for electric vehicles, for the mid-sized vehicles. They expect to have sales of upwards to 8,000 units over a 5-year period. So it's very important that we have a factory that can produce vehicles destined for the U.S. market, and that's what this Ferndale, Washington facility does. It's well under construction. This is actually an older picture you're looking at here. It is looking like a completed building as we speak now. In fact, we're starting to put the interior parts and pieces in it. I think that the paint booth just went in last week, and cranes are going in next week. We're scheduled to actually pave the yard in June. So we want to have this plant completed by Q2, the end of Q2, and actually start running some test vehicles through in Q2, and actually be in production in sometime in Q3 here, putting vehicles through that facility. And then of course we have our Aldergrove facility up here in Canada, and it has a capacity to do about 850 units a year for us. So when you combine all of these capacity that we have, you can see we've got a direct path really to grow our business. Technology. So I touched on that a little bit when I walked through, the vehicles and what vehicle lineup we have. But our technology, we've designed this in-house, the technology, and we really wanted to try to utilize automotive technologies when we're building these vehicles. When I say automotive technologies, if you look at one of the large automotive manufacturers, when they bring a vehicle to life, they're looking at a lifespan of about 1 million vehicles for that particular model. And what that does is that gears up the supply chain to really build high quality, high volume items at just a tremendous price point. And that's what we wanted to actually go after with our technology, developing all the electronics and vehicle control units to take these technologies in place and keep our price point very, very competitive. As well, when we look at our vehicles, I've stated we use hydraulic brakes versus air brakes. So there's really no special licensing required for the vehicles. The power on it, we charge with 240 volt single phase power. Our class 3 trucks really are built to have a supply, an actual power supply on it. So a lot of these trucks will be going into municipal operations, and a lot of the municipalities today, when they're operating, they need a generator to take along to power their various pumps and various things like that, where we've built our vehicle to actually have we call it a power takeoff on it. So you can actually plug in and draw power from the batteries to actually run your needs. So it's quite innovative, and I think it's again one of these selling features that really sets us apart from the competition. VMC S1, the S1 optimal group, we brought that into play last year with our operations. The S1 really, when we look at it, it fits extremely well into our lineup, because if you look at our Vicinity Lightning vehicles and the seating capacity that we have on it, and you look at the S1, it fits really well. So we've got a vehicle with the heavier duty vehicle with the Vicinity Lightning, it can take say up to 34 passengers, where the S1 is a 22 passenger vehicle. So it just fits into that smaller range. But the S1 was actually built. It's built on a Ford E450 chassis, And we've converted that chassis to take an electric powertrain. But in doing so, we've actually brought it back up to the original OEM standards that Ford wanted. So this is going to set us aside again when we get into selling these vehicles in high volume. The customers, for safety reasons alone, our vehicle is one of the safest vehicles on the market. We've also incorporated the batteries in this optimal vehicle to fit in between the frame rails. So again, it's just extremely safe vehicle. Partners, when we walk through this slide here, you know, I've talked a little bit optimal. So we signed a licensing and market agreement with Optimal Electric Vehicles. So we're really their distributor for that vehicle for a 10-year period. And it just fits well into our market space. We have the distribution networks that we're putting in place. We have a dealer network that will be in all 50 states here shortly. And it's really gaining some momentum, and it really adds value to what we have as a full package. This EAVX JD Poindexter partnership, this you really have to take a look at this and you wonder, okay, where does this fit and how does that fit into what we're doing? So we just completed up one of the at the California ACT conference. We had our little Class 3 vehicle in their booth. JD Poindexter is the largest bodybuilder, truck bodybuilder in North America, and not just by a little bit, by great margins. If you look at their where they fit into the marketplace, they're over $2 billion in sales. They're start at the top end of their vehicle lineup. The UPS trucks and boxes like that, that's a walk-in van. They have over 66% of that walk-in van market in North America. So they're generally purchasing chassis, say from Ford. In this instance, it would be an F-59 chassis, and they're putting their bodies on it. That walk-in van market is 40,000 vehicles a year sold annually throughout North America, and they sell 30,000 of them. So they have a great market share. We've taken our Vicinity Lightning vehicle and really taken the bus body off of it and modified it so it could fit their walk-in van. And we'll be delivering them one of those vehicles here this summer. And I think this is where, some of these opportunities really come in. We have a lot of our competitors out there chasing, this last mile deliveries and talking about the thousands of vehicles that they're going to sell into it. Well, here's the industry leader that's actually selling them. 30,000 of the 40,000 is sold by the Morgan Olson Group. And we have a collaboration agreement to supply them bodies and chassis, or supply them chassis for their bodies. That's just one division. If you look at their Morgan division, it's over 50% of the heavy duty truck bodies that are sold. And then their other division, the Reading division, selling work truck bodies. They have 156 dealers alone across North America for their work bodies, and that's what we had in their booth down in the California show. Was we put one of their work bodies on our little 1200 VMC 1200 truck, and just tremendous opportunities here. Proterra is one of our battery suppliers. We've signed a long-term contract to supply batteries from Proterra. They're Buy America compliant batteries. Their batteries currently are manufactured in California, so it's a good fit for us for our factory in Washington State. Line Smart is another one. They supply us the BMW batteries. Xro, we have an agreement with them as well for batteries. Or pardon me, not Electrovaya for batteries. Xro, we're working with them. They're a leading clean technology company, and they've really developed a new class of power electronic motors. They have a innovative coil driver system that is quite unique, and it should add a considerable amount of distance on by how they power their coil driver through their electric motors. And these are some of the companies that we're working with really to ensure that we continue to be an industry leader and bring products to market that are innovative and really add value to the customers. Danfoss Edatron, they're one of our motor suppliers. So we have a pretty good select lineup of partners and suppliers, and these are just some of them. What we've been trying to do, because our business is virtually electric vehicles, we've been trying to ensure that we have a diverse supply chain for the different components that go into the vehicles, really to try to make sure that we don't get caught with supply chain issues. Distribution. So if you go back and take a look at some of our past news releases, we've really been adding strong distributors for distribution throughout North America here. And I think that just continues on the strength of this. A lot of these companies that we're putting in place here, they're industry leaders in their divisions or in their sector. If you look at like New England and the Northwest and Southwest, and the companies that we're selecting really to help us sell and distribute our products really are greatly needed, and they really help you get the product out there. If you're selling direct yourself, you don't get that local flair and that local business that these individuals really bring to the marketplace. EV comps, products, and availability. As you can see, I've stated we want to really laser focus in on that class 3 to class 5, 6 vehicles. And we're doing so. If you look at our order book and where we're picking up these orders, it's quite impressive. Our little VMC 1200 alone, we've signed dealers here, mostly on the Canadian side right now, for over 250 units to date. We'll start delivering those units here. I would think in the next couple of months we'll start actually delivering, and I think that's what's going to set us aside from the competition. Is we have a strong track record, and we have a strong backlog, very large backlog, and we'll actually start delivering these vehicles, and those deliveries turn into profitability each quarter as we go forward. This is just you can take a look at this yourself. You can see where we sit, where our valuation is. We're definitely, in our opinion, we're completely undervalued to where we should be in the marketplace today, particularly if you look at the vehicles we have, the sales pipeline we have, and the backlog, tremendous backlog that we have. We're sitting here, we have over $100 million in backlog. We're forecasting to deliver $70 to $90 million this year. One of the things you should take note of is that we did change our reporting from Canadian dollars to US dollars at January 1st this year. So when we say we've got 70 to 90 million, that's US in deliveries that we'll actually deliver to customers this year. Financials, you can take a look at that yourself. Most of the stuff's online if you want to look at us. Management, we have a very strong management team. I've introduced myself. I'm one of the founders. I've been here since day one, and we have a really strong team that I would say is really actively involved. When you look at even our board of directors, they really believe in the vision that we have, and they actually help out on a day-to-day basis. with that, if there's any other questions you have or any other information that you're seeking, please reach out to our IR group, the MZ group in the US, and that's VMC at the mzgroup.us. I thank you for your time today.